What's up, and welcome back to Interpreting the Stars. Today we are taking a look at the 2006 Jack Black comedy, Nacho Libre. My buddy Anthony Perez, he recommended me to watch this flick after he reviewed it on his own channel a while ago, and I told him I never did get around to watching it when it came out for the first time. So, before I continue, I want to tell you all to check out his channel, which I left the link in my description below, or you can head over to my main page, where I currently also have his channel listed in my featured section. Nacho Libre centers around Ignacio, otherwise known as Nacho, a young man living with a bunch of orphans and a missionary, and his passion in life is to one day be a luchador wrestler, but his missionary sees that as a sinful way to live because luchadors are celebrities and as such are often seen as false idols. But this guy isn't really one to profit off of celebrity status. He wants respect, sure, but he mostly wants to help his missionary from a financial standpoint too. So he's often caught in the crossfires of what he should and shouldn't do. So of course I've heard about Nacho Libre when it first came out, thanks to the massively diverse success of Napoleon Dynamite, which was also made by the same people. And if cinematic universes were a thing back in the day, I'd have to say that pretty much Nacho Libre and Napoleon Dynamite would have easily taken place within the same cinematic universe, maybe the stupid cinematic universe, because they're both very similar in tone and feel. They're both really dumb, but they both also really know exactly what they want to be too. The humor and the character profiles in both films are pretty similar, so if you like Napoleon Dynamite, there's a good chance that you'll like Nacho Libre as well. I would have to say that in general, I prefer Napoleon Dynamite. I think the only real reason for that is because I can relate more to Napoleon's character than Nacho's. Napoleon was a really weird and socially awkward teenager that always struggled to find the right things to say, and I can relate to that. I can't relate so much to a lot of Mexican culture, or really anything dealing with wrestling as a whole, so while I can respect what they're doing in this movie, I can't really put myself in Nacho's shoes, and I can't connect on that level. It's the same problem I actually had with Pixar's Coco. Great movie, I can respect a lot about it, but I couldn't connect with the characters so much when it came down to their culture. Now, even if you can connect with that culture, you still have to have a very specific sense of humor too. In general, comedy is subjective. There's not a single comedy in the entire world that absolutely everybody considers funny. Throwing things like Nacho Libre and Napoleon Dynamite into the mix, there's even less people that consider them funny. It's honestly a very hard movie to sell because the market is so small. These types of movies pretty much require multiple viewings to fully appreciate the jokes being told. This was my first viewing of Nacho Libre, and as such, I can't really say that all of the humor stuck with me. Some did, some didn't, but I feel like the more I see it, the more it'll become something to be considered nostalgic. The same went for Napoleon Dynamite. When I first saw that, I was like, what? Since then, though, I've seen it several times, and I can say my appreciation for it and my sense of humor ultimately arrived at a place where I could actually love it. It's certainly an acquired taste type of film, so it almost feels wrong of me to score it after only one viewing, but here we are. Now, what did impress me with this film was the lighting and color palette of the movie, which was very bright and very vibrant, which really helped it fit the tone of the film and honestly helped it stand out as different. Also, I've seen Jack Black in probably a billion things at this point, or at least it feels like that, but not a lot of his characters specifically have remained incredibly memorable. While I can't say this is my favorite Jack Black movie, I can say his role, his character specifically, is one of his best. I won't be forgetting Nacho anytime soon. I was somewhat surprised to learn of the PG rating though. I thought for sure it would be PG-13, and at times I still feel like it would have benefited off of less restrictions and just let Jack Black do his thing. I get that it's a family film, but I'm not entirely sure why that had to be. I feel like Will Ferrell could have played Nacho Libre at a time during his sports movie phase, and it would have been R. There's plenty of different things that they could have done with the movie which would have immediately made it more adult, I guess you could say, but what they did with it wasn't that bad, especially given the dialogue. Like Napoleon Dynamite, I feel like everything everybody says in the movie is ridiculous but quotable, and that's something I really enjoyed about the movie. It's not just Jack Black doing his thing, it's everybody. That way, Nacho's character felt as if it fit in an entire world of similar people. He didn't just stick out as just this stupid person. Everybody was stupid. I guess what I'm trying to say is even though I'm not entirely in tune with Mexican culture, luchador wrestling, or the like, I still found this film pretty decent. It had nice visuals, it had a memorable character that's hard to forget, and a ton of one-liners that I feel like people will be quoting until the end of time, and that's not a bad thing. I give this film 69%, 69 out of 100 possible stars. Guys, tell me what you thought about Nacho Libre in the comments down below. And as for YouTube, make sure that you hit subscribe, hit the like button, and hit the bell to be notified when I come out with my next review. But until then, peace out.